Doucette. Yo, biggest mosquito is here. I just came out the gym, guys. You got to excuse me. I'm one tired motherfucking soul. But, like I said in my video that I recorded yesterday, that you might be seeing today, I'm going to be back with some stuff now. As I explained in the video, I'm going to be out and about doing a lot of recording, so I'm going to be doing a lot of videos from inside my car. Shout out to Alan Roberts. Alan Roberts was the one that I noticed when I first started watching fitness YouTube, him doing videos inside of his little smart car. And so I think he revolutionized the filming videos inside of parked cars and shit. But listen, this is a quick video about Greg Doucette looking at Alex Eubank Bloodwork. Now, Greg is not a doctor, and a lot of it's still based on opinion. But Greg, you didn't say too much wrong, but you made a lot of assumptions. And there's two things in particular that I want to touch upon: creatinine levels and AST, which is an enzyme primarily found in the liver, but it's also found in muscle tissue. Now, if I'm a betting man, the creatinine levels that Alex Eubank showed on his blood work test, as well as the AST levels being elevated, can only mean really two things. It's not so much a byproduct of testosterone. AST levels can rise because of muscle damage. If I'm a betting man, and Alex Eubank probably worked out leading up to his blood work draw, I wouldn't be surprised at those elevated levels of AST is a byproduct of that. And I know that firsthand because I went and did some blood work here last year at the VA here in Georgia, and I worked out prior to my labs, not thinking that anything was going to be wrong. But when they came up with blood work, the first thing they noticed was my AST and creatinine levels were very high. More about creatinine in a second. But everything else was functioning fine. Kidneys was functioning fine. You know, with no blood in the kidneys. None of that stuff that make them really indicate. They look at more than just one marker. They look at the pH in the kidneys, and he bleeding in the urine. They look at a lot of stuff. They just don't go off of one thing. Same with AST. They looked at the ALT enzyme. Now, if ALT is elevated, 9 times out of 10, you got some kidney damage. Okay? So, ultimately, what ended up happening was they made me come back to do a retest. So, I decided not to work out for a few days leading up to that test. Got off the creatine, everything got back to normal. So, if I'm a betting man, I guarantee you that AST was elevated because of the muscle damage that he caused from working out. That enzyme is in the muscle. Matter of fact, that enzyme in particular is what kick off and signals the body for inflammation and signals the body to start repairing that injured muscle. That's what that enzyme's in the muscle tissue for to begin with. Primarily in the liver, but it's also in muscle. So when you damage any muscle, that enzyme get elevated, and that, you know, starts the healing process. Okay? Creatinine levels. I'm a betting man that Alex Eubank is taking creatine. Creatine indirectly raises your creatinine levels. That's how you can know if your creatine is working. Take creatine for a week, then go get some blood work. If the creatinine levels are high, 9 times out of 10, the creatine is working. If it's not high, you're probably just taking baby powder, and you don't want to be taking baby powder, okay? So, everything else you said makes some sense, okay? Now, cholesterol is a byproduct of testosterone. Testosterone being elevated can elevate your cholesterol levels. Depending on what he's eating, is going to really elevate that even higher. But we all know that the more testosterone you have, a lot of times estrol goes up. That's a byproduct of estrogen because testosterone converts to estrogen. Okay, and then too much of it can be estrol, but that's another stuff for another day. But we also know, based on testosterone going up, how it affects the lipophatic system, the fat cells in the body, all of that can raise your cholesterol levels, because cholesterol is one of those things that comes with increased thing of testosterone. However, food plays a big factor in that as well. So you got to look at what the guy's eating. If he's eating clean and eating a lot of stuff that can raise the HDL levels, the high lipodensity protein, right? The HDL levels, then that will offset the LDL and the VLDL, the very low density lipoproteins. Okay, so you gotta look at the guy's diet as a whole. Okay, I don't think he's on too much test to have that alone affect his cholesterol levels. Now, you need cholesterol. I'm not going to dive into why you need cholesterol, but trust me, you need cholesterol. It helps the body in a lot of ways. You just look it up yourself. It's a plethora. of shit that cholesterol does for the body. And I don't want to make this video too long. It's a short one. So those was the only two things that I had to comment on, because I know you're using that for your argument that he's on too much test. Now, I'm a natural, all right? I'm not going, I love my nuts too much, okay? I am not going to fuck with my balls. I'm sorry. I don't give a fuck how much temptation, money, I don't really give a fuck. I am not going to fuck with my nuts, okay? I'm not doing that. I'm like Beast Mode Jones. Shout out to Chris Jones. As above, so below. You know, I don't want to fuck up my electrical system down below, because I want to be able to function up above and vice versa. So with that being said, you know, I'm a personal trainer that's intrigued with fitness, intrigued with science, intrigued with how the body works. And you, as a master in kinesiology, ought to know that stuff. But I understand you needed something to go off on to push your narrative. So I understand it. But one quick Google search can debate and debunk that. That's why doctors recommend you come back in. You know, if he's telling the doctor everything he's taking, if they were seeing other markers off, like, okay, you said the red blood cell count's high, most likely it is because of the increased muscles, right? Your heart's a muscle, it's going to grow. That raises the stroke volume. That raises the amount of blood in your body, which can indirectly raise the blood pressure in your body. So it's not necessarily a good thing to be on a lot of testosterone, okay? Now, but once again, high blood pressure can be a byproduct of how much sodium was in his diet. It can be a byproduct of how much he's lacking in electrolytes. And it can be a byproduct of genetics, okay? But 9 times out of 10, you can't just say, well, because he's on testosterone, his blood pressure shot up because testosterone. Everything grows, especially if you're on growth hormone, everything's going to grow. But high blood pressure is one of those things where, depending on what he was eating, depending on if he was nervous when he was doing blood work, a lot of that stuff dictates that. You can't just say it's just one fucking thing. It's common, but you can't just say that is indeed what's going on. You know, you abused testosterone and steroids for 10 years. I think you know better than that. But I understand why you had to say what you said. But you have some people out there that just know. Like, I studies and I listen to you. I'm like, that don't make sense. One quick Google search can dispute all that. And I believe if there were other markers off, the doctor would be telling Alex, you need to get off the shit or bring your ass back in here, because we want to test for any cancers, any abnormalities, and all that fucking bullshit. But instead, all I see is a guy that's taking creatine, AST with elevated because the guy likes to work the fuck out. Blood pressure might be elevated because oh, I just got a text message. My car, literally my car. God, I'm gonna show you in real time. Let you hear. I'm just to saliva. Let's see. Right here, my car.
Update: Charlie is on the test drive now. Once he gives me the okay, you can come pick up later on today.
Got it.
What's the message?
I appreciate it. I will be up there. If everything goes okay, around 5:30. It's just eating between 5:30 and 7. See you guys then.
I appreciate it. I will be up there if everything goes okay around 5:30. It's just eating 3,530 and 7 o'clock. See you guys then. Ready to send it?
Send it. I hope that.
Okay, it's sent.
Oh God. So yeah, the mustache and stuff. But anyway, guys, that's all I got. And Greg, I understand Cali Muscle is doing shit to you and my brother from another mother, John. And John, I love that GT500. That's the last true GT500, guys. That's the last true Chevy. Chevy makes it with a fucking GT body kit with a Whipple in it. But when Ford makes a Chevy, Ford makes a Chevy. You know, like the Chevy GT 350s. That's a Ford product, right? That's not a Chevy product. And the Ford GT 500, right, that they just made. But the last true GT 500 is the one that John has. That's a bad motherfucker, okay? But I appreciate beautiful cars, and I'm gonna pick mine up. Talk about that in another video. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoy. Greg, this isn't. Normally I be roasting you, but man, as of late, you be on the road. Now I'll say ease up off Eddie Hall. Ease up off Eddie Hall, man. But goddamn, but I just had to call you on some bullshit, man. You can't just use two markers and think that proves your narrative. I'm just saying. It's a little bit more complex than that. Hope you all enjoyed. Being your boy Savar Matner. Gonna be pushing out a lot of videos over the next few weeks. You guys stay safe until I can live stream again. So just get comfortable with video formats. And until the next video, you guys stay safe. Being your boy Savar Matner. I'm out, everyone. Peace.